Hola clase, buenas tardes. Aquí estamos con 7.4. So this video lesson we'll be looking at verbs like gustar. So if you remember gustar, you say me gusta, me gustan, te gusta, te gustan. Right, so these are slightly different. So we're going to look at other verbs that are like that. So look at these examples. Me gusta ese champú. Right? I like that shampoo, and the literal meaning is that shampoo is pleasing to me. So in Spanish, the subject is the thing that is pleasing, right? So here it's gusta because champú, singular noun. ¿Te gustaron las clases? Right? So here it's plural, and this is in the preterite. This is the past tense because las clases. So that's, you always think about singular and plural with these type of verbs. That's really it. Let me make this a little smaller. All right, so there's not, yeah, so we got to leave our English thinking behind here because it's not exactly the same. We're not the ones doing the likings. The things that we like are pleasing to us. That's a helpful way to think about this, okay? So this, again, points it out in a grammatical, syntactic sense. So what you have here is the me is an indirect object pronoun. You have the verb gusta, and you have the subject, champú, like I said before, right? So that's, yeah. I mean, well, a good way to think about this is to whom is the shampoo pleasing, right? To me, right? That's why you'd say a mí me gusta. The a mí is optional. Here are a few examples. ¿Te gusta Juan Carlos? Me gustan los cafés que tienen música en vivo, right? So here it's gustan because cafés. Here it's gusta because Juan Carlos is a singular person. So here's a list of some verbs that operate exactly like gustar. So we have so please repeat after me. Aburrir, encantar, encantar, faltar, fascinar, importar, interesar, molestar, quedar. So all of these verbs, when used like gustar, would be like that, right? So you would say, oh, me aburre la clase de matemáticas, o me encanta la clase de matemáticas, right? Te falta, te fascinan, nos importa, les interesa, me molesta, te queda, etc., right? So all of these would either be singular or plural. And we're going to see a bunch of examples over here. So faltar expresses what is lacking or missing, right? So me falta una página. I'm missing a page. Quedar expresses how much of something is left. Nos quedan 3 pesos. That's one way. That's one use of this, right? Nos quedan 3 pesos. We only have 3 pesos left. But quedar can also mean to fit, right? It can also be used to tell how something looks, right? So estos zapatos me quedan bien, right? And that's the English equivalent. They fit me well. Esa camisa te queda muy bien. That sure looks good on you, right? It fits you well. It's suiting, right? So here like we said earlier, it's usually the third person that you use with these verbs, singular or plural. And then use the indirect object pronouns. So we have me, te, le, nos, and les. Remember, we don't use the os form because that's for vosotros, and we don't do that in this class. So yeah, if the thing is singular, it's a singular ending, as in me encanta la película or te interesó el concierto. But if it's more than one thing, we use the plural. So you might say me importan las vacaciones, te fascinaron los museos de Lima, right? So both of these nouns are plural. When we use a verb with it, it doesn't matter how many action verbs there are, it's always singular, right? So you look at the examples here. Nos molesta comer a las 9. Les encanta bailar y cantar en las fiestas. So even though there's 2 things that you like to do here, the verb is still always in the singular form, right? So there could be 100 things here, and it would still be les encanta, or me gusta bailar, cantar, comer, caminar, etc., right? Always singular. So remember that with these, though, you don't say yo, tú, él, ella, usted. You have to say a, There has to be an a there, right? So a ti, a mi. Also notice with the mi, there's an accent mark over the I. We did go over this in Lección 2, but that might have been a long time ago, so you might want to go back and look at that. But yeah, it's pretty easy, or it's pretty straightforward. You just don't. If you're going to mention the exact person, you have to have an a before it. Okay, so a los turistas les gustó mucho Machu Picchu, right? You can't just say los turistas les gustó in that a. And you can't say tú te gusta. You have to say a ti. And you can't say yo me aburre. You have to say a mí me aburre. But those are optional, the a ti, a mí. And also, like I just said, the me has an accent mark over it to distinguish it from the possessive adjective me, like mine, right? Okay, so that's it for the PowerPoint. Let's put this into practice. If you want to look in on your textbook, these were on page 246, 247. 246 hasta 247. Well, here it says 249, but the information is on 246 to 247. All right, let's start here. Okay, so you know the drill. I'll tell you to pause it, and you'll pause it, and then you'll try to find the answer. So let's look at the instrucciones. Dice, elige el pronombre de objeto indirecto adecuado y la forma correcta del verbo en presente para completar cada oración. Alright, so let's look at número 1. Dice, mi amigo Felipe vive en el campo. Cada vez que viene a la ciudad, blank, ir en metro de un lugar a otro. So would we say, me fascina ir, me fascinan ir, le fascina ir, or le fascinan ir en un metro de un lugar a otro? Pause. And we're back. And it would be le fascina, because we're talking about Felipe, right? Le fascina ir en un metro de un lugar a otro. And it's singular because the verb ir, remember? Verbs are always singular. Okay. Número 2. A mi hermano y a mí, blank, quedarnos en casa los fines de semana. Okay, so here are the 4 options. Me aburre, me aburren, nos aburre, nos aburren, quedarnos en casa los fines de semana. Pause. And we're back. Here would be nos aburre. It's boring to us to stay inside, right? And it's a mi hermano y a mí, so it's saying a nosotros. So nos aburre, and again we have a verb here, so that's what's aburre, singular. 3. A ti también, blank, las personas que tienen errores de ortografía. Ortografía is spelling. So here are the 4 options. Te molesta las personas, te molestan las personas, le molesta las personas, le molestan las personas. Pause. And it would be, we're back, it'd be te molestan. We know it's te because a ti, and then it's molestan because las personas, more than one. 4. ¿Cuáles son las materias de la universidad que más blank a los estudiantes? Here are the 4 options. Te interesa, te interesan, les interesa, les interesan. Pause. And we're back. This one's a little trickier. It would be les interesan. First of all, it's less because a los estudiantes, right? And it's interesan because it's las materias, right? So what are the university subjects that are the most interesting to students? Something like that. 5. En mis ratos libres, blank, leer un buen libro y cocinar para mis amigos. So here are the 4 options. Me encanta, me encantan, nos encanta, nos encantan. Pause. And we're back. It would be me encanta because en mis ratos libres, so that mis is telling us that it's me, right? And then it's encanta because leer, a verb, always singular. Last one. Señor Pereira, that's a hard last name. Blank muy bien esos pantalones. ¿Desea comprar algo más? Here are the 4 options. Te queda, te quedan, le queda, le quedan. Pause. And we're back. It would be le quedan. And the reason why it's le is because this person is speaking formally. Señor Pereira, so it's saying usted. So a usted le, and then it's quedan because esos pantalones, plural. Le quedan muy bien esos pantalones. Excelente. All right, we'll do one more quick activity before ending this video. So this one is similar. We're just gonna, here it tells us to select the correct form of the verbs. All right, so we're looking out basically here if it's singular or plural. Okay, número uno. Maru, te blank bien las faldas y los vestidos. So only two options. Pause, and we're back. Quedan, has to be, right? Because las faldas, vestidos, plural. Dos, a Jimena y a Juan Carlos no les blank la lluvia. When you say no les molesta, no les molestan la lluvia. Pause. And we're back. Molesta. Now a lot of you might wanted to say molestan because it's two people, but remember the verb has to do with the subject, or with the noun, right? So it's molesta because la lluvia. So think about it backwards. What is it that is annoying to Jimena and Carlos? Rain, right? That's why it's singular, okay? So let's take some practice. A los chicos no les blank ir de compras. Pause. And we're back. Importa, because it's a verb, ir de compras. Cuatro. A Don Diego y a Felipe les blank probarse ropa en las tiendas. Pause. And we're back. Aburre, because it's a verb. Remember, if it's an action, it's always the singular form. A Jimena le blank las tiendas y los almacenes. Pause. And we're back. Fascinan, no? Because plural. Las tiendas y los almacenes. Almacenes. 6. A Felipe le blank 2 años para terminar la carrera. Pause. And we're back. Faltan. Faltan 2 años. Why? Because 2 años, more than 1 year. Plural. It's a plural noun. 7. A los chicos les blank pescar y nadar en el mar. Pause. And we're back. Encanta, because verbs. Remember with verbs, always the singular form. Okay, el último 8. A Miguel le blank el arte. Pause. And we're back. Interesa, because it's el arte. Okay, muy buen trabajo, clase. Hasta luego.